Hi Stampers, it's Linda Schmidt with Stampin' with the Hounds. Thanks again for joining me today. I have a fun cards that move. These are called the rocking cards. And this is using some circle dies or any type of circle cutting system to make these. And the set that I'm featuring today is the Lighthouse Point dies, which coordinates with the Lighthouse Point stamp set. So I'm not really using the stamp set so much. I did a little bit on the one saying the so much to thanks, but I'm really focusing on the dies today because you know me, when I die cut, I do a lot. So I'm using up a lot of my pieces that I have die cut. So how I make this point is I'm using like here for this one I did red was the solid, and then this was done in the white, and then you disassemble it together, and then you've got other pieces and the little what do you want to call it, the ray of light coming out of the lighthouse. So super fun. Now with this technique, unfortunately, Stampin' Up! Does not sell this large circle die anymore. So the one that I'm using is from a long time ago. It was called the Circles Collection framelits. And the largest circle that I'm using measures about 4 inches. And then I'm doing the next size down, which was, I believe, 3.5. Yeah, 3.5. So if you don't have a large circle dies, like I said, I would recommend using either if you've got a circle cutting system or some other large circle dies, whatever brand it is, or trace something and then cut it out, fussy cut, which is the other way of doing it. But like I said, I had in my stash these old retired dies. So I'm using, like I said, this 4-inch and the 3.5-inch die for today's cards. So what you're going to need, and I just wanted to show you. So basically what you're doing is this is the 4-inch and this is the 3.5, the DSP. Then I did another colored cardstock in that 4-inch circle, and then I did a final one of white cardstock in that 4-inch circle. And that's just my preference, because really when you get this card, it's hard. You can, if you want to open it, if you want to write in here. The problem is it's kind of hard to write when you've got, like I said, I've got a little overhang here. So unless you have an image that doesn't overhang, then it would be easier to write in it. I'm using the back as my place to write with it. And the reason why I'm doing the 3 is it gives it a little bit more stability when it rocks. And then you want to be careful too in how you place your image, because my first time I did it, like on this one, this is my first one I made, it was falling over. It was too heavy on this side. So that's why I had to add this to balance it out. So kind of think of that too when you're creating this. And I was finding that if I had that 2 layers, like I said, here's the white and the Coastal Cabana, that kind of helped give it a little bit of weight. And then on this one, you did see I did decorate the inside. I just had some scraps left over, and so that's what I kind of did. That's another way. And then this one, of course, I just left it blank, leaving this one to be more of my focal point. And on here, I'll do my writing. So those are just, you know, some options to do it. So what you're going to need is 2 of your colored cardstock, and these are the 4-inch circles that I'm using. So 2 colored, and then 1 that's white. Okay, that's the 4-inch circles. So 2 colored and 1 white. Then in the 3.5-inch circle, I did my designer series paper, and this paper I'm using is the retired Ways of the Ocean. I had still a few sheets left of this, and I thought it worked really great with the Lighthouse Point. So using up my scraps, my whole thing was I wanted to use up my DSP stash this year, and I'm making a dent in it. All right. And then whatever scraps you want, if you notice on this one, I did do, I don't know if you can see it, I did another layer, and it's popped up on dimensionals, and that's just another 4-inch circle. I just had a scrap left over, and so what I did is I just cut that circle and then I freehand cut that part off just to give it a little bit of something. So that's what I'm going to be doing today again. So the first thing we want to do to make the card is go ahead, and this is going to be my front. So I'm going to layer my Designer Series paper on the front. Okay. Then, like I said, I had this piece. This was just a scrap. So I just cut it out, and then I cut it again right here just to get that. Because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to freehand this. But this is that 4-inch circle that I'm just going to pop up on that part. And this is totally optional. I just wanted a little bit more of this blue showing. So I'm going to take my dimensionals, and I'm just going to put these around the edge. And this is going to be flush with the edge of the cardstock because, again, this was that 4-inch circle that I just cut partial. Okay. Then on my other circle, I'm going to attach my white onto the back of it. So these are both the 4-inch. So this, where this white is, this ends up being the back of my card that I can write on or stamp on. And if you're going to be doing any stamping, you want to do it now before you assemble it, because it'll be too hard and bulky, you know, to stamp on it once it's together. So this is going to be my back. And again, I had a scrap left over. So I had a scrap, and I just cut it out again using that 4-inch circle. This is how I did it. So I just cut it out. This is thrown away. This is going to be my scrap. And again, I'm going to freehand it. And this I'm just going to tape or adhere. I'm not going to pop this one out. This is just the back of my card. So I like to get all my decorating done before I start to assemble. And then on this one, I'm going to take my sailboat punch, and I'm looking for my, oh, here it is. I'm just going to punch out a sailboat. So I had already punched out a bunch of other colors previously, and again, I have a little baggie that I always keep all my extra die cuts or punches in. We're just decorating the back side of the card right now, so I'm just going to add my sailboat. And then I will do a dimensional on these just to pop these up. So one goes on the front, and I'm going to do a Coastal Cabana. Oops, I need the other one. Or maybe I'll keep both of these Pacific Point. Yeah, I think I'll keep both of these Pacific Point. These will go back in my little sailboat punch baggie. Okay, so that's the back part. Now, what we're going to do is on that back piece, they're layered together, so we're going to be scoring at 1 inch. And this then we fold on it, and this is what becomes that back end and kind of easel to support the circle card. Okay? So this is just my little template just to show you. So again, it was a 4-inch circle, and I just scored at 1, fold on both sides, and then that's just going to get adhered then to the card. Okay? All right, so now we're going to take and we're going to do our 1-inch score. So I'm going to get out my Simply Score tool, make a little bit of room here. So again, we're going to go right at that 1-inch mark here. And we're going through 2 layers of cardstock. So you really want to press down hard. Kind of go over it a couple of times. And then I always just flip it over just to make sure, yep, so it's showing through. And that's all you're going to do for the scoring. Then you're going to take your bone folder and you want to make sure that you're folding back and forth on both sides just to give that easel movement. Okay, and then if you want to stamp anything here, this is the time to do it now. And I think I'm going to do from the Ways of Inspiration. I am just going to do You're Totally Awesome. And I will do this in I think I will do, let's do the Night of Navy. Nice and dark. Okay. All right, so that's stamped. Now, our front of the card, so then that's going to go together like so. But I want to get the front of my card decorated first. So here I already have my Lighthouse point bundle already assembled. So what I did is I did a solid white. I did the Pacific point, the outline one. So I die cut this in Pacific Point, plus I did Coastal Cabana, and then I puzzle pieced this together. Then this top part is from another die. I did that in like a black gloss. I just had some scraps. I die cut that in black, and then from this piece I had left over, because from when I had die cut it full thing in gold, I then puzzle pieced these little pieces. And then this little part I just die cut in white. So I've already assembled all this because it's kind of putsy. But again, like I said, I just spent a day and I just die cut a bunch of images. Then I did one more of these solid images because I'm going to show you what I do. And this is just personal preference because I like to see, you know, here I didn't have it matching. I do kind of like to have it a little bit matching the base of the inside of the card. And again, it's totally option. You don't have to do this. It's just me being goofy. Plus, it helped to sandwich this little beam of light because I didn't like seeing this adhesive showing on the back side of the card. And I need, let's take a few of these glue dots. So I'm just going to put a glue dot on here. And then that's going to be my ray of my spotlight coming out. like I said, because I didn't like seeing this, I cut another solid image, and I'm just going to cover that part up. So I'm just going to add glue to the back side of my lighthouse. And again, it could be white again. I just had this Pacific Point already cut, so that's what I grabbed. So whatever color you want this to be, it doesn't matter. There you go, and that's all assembled. So then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do, because this is already popped up with dimensionals, this part, I'm only going to put adhesive on this bottom part, and then I'm going to do, and you, whatever you do here, make sure that this spotlight image doesn't overhang, because you need to be able to rock. So keep it above, and then knowing that this is where my top of my circle is, I'm going to just put my dimensional right below that, and then I'll put one, let's see here, one in the middle, and then the rest of this will be just the glue, because this is already popped up, so I'm just kind of anchoring it on there. Okay, and then I always like to add a few little gems. So let's do okay, and now we're going to get ready to assemble this together. So this is where you want to make sure that you're centered. I'm just kind of eyeballing my two little wave pieces. This is going to come back, and I'm only putting glue on this inside. And you want to do a nice strong glue here. So any type of liquid glue or your tear and tape will be good. And it rocks, and it doesn't tip over. It's not a Humpty Dumpty. So there you go. That is the rocking card featuring the Lighthouse Point die. And I hope to see some of your creations in my Facebook group page, Stampin' with the Hounds. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. And I will stamp again with you soon. Have a great and creative day. Bye-bye.